Hi everybody, welcome to another Texas Bolt Action battle report. I'm sorry that it's been so long since we've done one of these. We've just been busy, but as you can see, I've been working on a table, so thought we would play a scenario of frontal assault on this somewhat Mediterranean themed table today. I'm here with John Cox, and he's going to be defending this area, this mountainous terrain from the attacking Americans. So I'm going to quickly go over what the Americans are bringing to the table today with the attacking force. We have a regular first lieutenant right here. I've got, actually I'm bringing a 2-platoon army. So I've got a regular second lieutenant bringing up the second platoon over here by himself. I've got 4 regular 7-man squads of grunts, with AARs, Tommy guns, and everybody else has rifles. I have 1 squad of rangers that are going to be supporting. 2 of those regular squads are probably going to be loaded in these 2 half-tracks, M3 half-tracks, with 50 caliber machine guns. And then I have 2 Sherman tanks for support. So a little bit of an armored platoon today. I've got a regular medium machine gun that will be giving some support. And then I've got a inexperienced mortar crew. So that's what the Americans are bringing. So John, go ahead and give me a rundown of what your army is today.
Right, so mine regular is like where I was going for an SS themed army with kind of late war where they kind of scrambled everything together.
Nice.
So I got a first lieutenant regular with an extra guy. Got a Panzer IV here with the skirts. That's going to be regular. Medium machine gun regular. Got a regular sniper. Got a Luftwaffe field division with Panzerfaust and an LMG. Got a pack here with it's proxying as a medium artillery piece. Then I got a regular pack 40. Got a full squad of veteran SS with 2 assault rifles, and the officer has an assault rifle with 2 Panzerfaust, and they're loaded up in a half-track. Over here I got a group of Volksgrenadiers, all assault rifles, and 2 Panzerfaust loaded up in a half-track. And over here I got a regular, or Grenadier regular with a LMG. Officer has an assault rifle and 2 Panzerfaust.
Very cool. All right, well, so these guys are going to be... Okay, so we're back after the deployment. I want to take a second to show you the table. Basically, John is going to be defending this mountainous region over here. He's placed 3 objective markers. Well, I placed this one at the crossroads. After that, the U.S. are going to have to secure the hill by clearing out this trench and ridding it of Germans, which he's parked this beautiful half-track beside. And then finally, there's one more objective back here by the field HQ, which the Americans will have to take if they can secure the crossroads and the hill. So the U.S. have a pretty steep fight against them. They'll be advancing across a field that is pretty much devoid of cover, and the Germans will be dug in pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the Americans' deployment. Basically over here on the right flank, the U.S. are taking position behind these woods. They have a second lieutenant that is behind them. There is a medium machine gun covering the field in case the Germans decide to take up positions in any of the buildings or on the ridge. And behind him there is a medium mortar that also has a pretty good view of the field. I've got regular soldiers here preparing to advance. They're going to be supported by a Sherman tank. And then we have our Rangers who are going to lead the way with their free run move at the beginning of the game. So that's what the U.S. are doing. John has positioned his Germans back here behind the black dice, as you can see. He's got a medium machine gun positioned at these rocks that's probably going to be advancing toward those woods to take up positions in the first turn. He has a SS officer behind the machine gun. He has a half-track loaded down with Volksgrenadiers waiting to jump out and take up a position. He has his artillery piece hidden back here in the kind of around the edge of the mountain, and he has his spotter over here in the middle, who's concealed, who's going to be keeping an eye on the field for the artillery piece. And then he has set up his actual pack right here, and I love this shot right here. He's kind of shut down the road so that no tanks can just come speeding up the road and pummeling the German Defenses. So that's going to be the deployment. Everybody else is left in reserve. There is no preparatory bombardment, and there's not just a whole lot of artillery other than what John has placed on the field. So we're going to go ahead and play turn one, and we will let you know how it goes. So stay tuned. And we're back after turn one. Already a really eventful turn one that is not really going great for the Americans. As you can see, the first thing that the Americans did was move the Rangers up to the side of the hill with their Rangers leading the way move. And then we went ahead and moved the tank up here on the side of the hill and turned down the lane to fire at that half-track that was parked over there, and managed to get a pin on it but failed to penetrate. With the help of John's officer, that half-track moved down the road and hopped its Volksgrenadiers out here into this house. These guys must be just like true fanatics, because they had two Panzerfausts and they managed to disable this tank, and then they managed to fire on the guys out here in the open and managed to kill 3 of them. So they're pinned. The Rangers took some shots in response at the Volksgrenadiers, but managed to only pin them. They were dug into hard cover, and the Rangers just weren't shooting very well. Mortar team took a shot at the pack, which was looking around the corner, which you could just barely see sticking around the corner down there. The machine gun team went into ambush. Over here on the right flank, we have our brave second lieutenant and the one squad that he's in command of, and they are moving up the flank to try and come in on the back side of the objective over here. So they're just kind of hanging out there, waiting for further orders. Meanwhile, John moved his officer over here to rally the half-track. He advanced his medium machine gun team up here into the woods, so now they have a full view of the area that the U.S. are trying to cross, and I'm sure they have these guys right in their sights. The howitzer fired at the mortar using the spotter and missed, so he's zeroing in. And in the meantime, the pack just went on ambush, and then at the end of the turn, it decided to go ahead and take a pot shot at the machine gun team and missed. So now they definitely know it's there if they didn't before. So we're going to go ahead and play turn 2, hopefully bring on some reserves, and we will let you know how it goes. So far, the Americans' attack is somewhat stalling. I know they've got to be rattled after the loss of that Sherman. So we'll find out what happens next. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back after a pretty eventful turn 2. As you can see, a lot of reinforcements came onto the table, and for both sides. So I'll start with the Americans. We started off taking fire from the Volksgrenadiers. They opened fire on, I believe it was the Rangers, who decided to immediately go down since it was point blank range, and they did that. So they weren't able to fire. The regular soldiers managed to get up into cover, and they managed to open up fire on this machine gun team in the bushes, but they missed. Meanwhile, finally got some good old American steel on the table. We started with this half-track that came on, fired at the Volksgrenadiers, and managed to kill one, but they took their orders test and were upgraded to regulars. So they are now regulars. But the regulars that I had in the half-track spilled out. The GIs fired at the Volksgrenadiers, whittled them down, and then the tank came on the table, pulled up, took a shot at this vehicle. Once again, managed to hit it and stun the crew, so it's pinned twice at least. The medium machine gun team was fired upon with the whole mounted machine gun and didn't manage to hit them at all. And then finally we fired with the pintle mounted medium machine gun at the Volksgrenadiers and managed to kill a couple more of them. My officer team jumped out on the opposite side of the half track, fired at the Volksgrenadiers and didn't hit anybody. So that's what happened over here on this flank. Meanwhile, the mortar took shots at the pack again, but missed. The medium machine gun team decided to pivot its attention because over here we had a squad of SS roll up in a half track and basically all but slaughter this squad. They did manage to hold out. They returned fire, being as brave as they were, and killed one of the SS members. And the second lieutenant also opened fire with his Tommy gun and managed to take out, or well, he didn't kill anyone, but he managed to put a pin on them as well. So these brave GIs are doing what they can for their country. Meanwhile, on John's side of the table, oh boy. So we'll start with this guy. He pulled back because he saw the tank coming. The officer jumped back into the trench, but the pack decided to advance up onto the table to be ready to take a shot at the tank, which is coming down the road. I'm not sure. I guess he can see him. So it'll be pretty interesting if we pull a die at the beginning of the next turn. Let's take a look here. Oh, can he not?
No.
Oh, yikes, yeah, he's back in the woods. Okay, all right, but he's covering the road. Meanwhile, behind the ridge, lots of things were happening. Panzer IV rolled up, a squad of Luftwaffe, inexperienced Luftwaffe squad rolled up, and a regular Heer squad rolled up as well, or sorry, Grenadier squad rolled up as well as a sniper. So it's basically going to be like that scene in Band of Brothers where it's like, it's a whole nother company when they start pouring over the hill. So, oh, I forgot to also mention that I had a half track run at full speed up this road to try and make a quick grab for the crossroads objective. So that's pretty much where things stand. It looks pretty precarious for the Americans. The Germans are in pretty good strength right now, and they've managed to inflict quite a few casualties on several of my squads. So we're going to go ahead and play out this turn. It's going to be turn 3, and stick around, and we'll let you know what happens. Thanks for watching. Okay, welcome back. That was the end of turn 3, and as you can see with the carnage on the table, it was a very eventful turn 3. The Americans managed to push those Volksgrenadiers out of here by putting more shots into them. They retreated after they foobarred, so they ended up going back over here and going down. Meanwhile, this team down here put more shots into the medium machine gun team and managed to whittle them down to 1 man. So they're now down and they only have 1 man. The regulars pushed up into this little area, as did the Rangers. So they're now sharing the cover together. They have their officer back behind them here. The half track rolled up, took some shots at the Volksgrenadiers, managed to, or actually didn't kill any of them. This tank, before being destroyed, took shots at the Volksgrenadiers and managed to kill, or actually, I'm sorry, no, it was the Rangers that killed one of them. The tank didn't shoot the Volksgrenadiers. The tank shot at all of these men in the trench. It's a whole nother company. Missed every single shot and was taken out by a Panzerfaust fired by the German Grenadiers. So that's both tanks down for the U.S. The half-track managed to squeeze off some shots over here at the regulars, but missed. I'm sorry, got 1 hit and killed 1 person. So as you can see, John has rolled up here with everyone into the trench. He's now strongly defending these last 2 objectives. It's going to be extremely difficult for the U.S. to get up there. The spotter for the howitzer was killed by this squad that managed to jump out of their immobilized half-track. The half-track was immobilized by this guy who decided to divert his attention away from this side of the field and move over here to take a shot at the half-track and managed to immobilize it. Meanwhile, this squad assaulted the squad that was out in the open here and then retreated back to be in their position. The half-track that was carrying them opened up fire on the second lieutenant. He went to ground and he managed to survive, but he took a pin. Meanwhile, the mortar moved or shifted position because it was being ranged in on by the howitzer, and now that the spotter for the howitzer is dead, you can no longer see the mortar, so the mortar is in a new position. The machine gun stayed put, just going down at the end of the turn, but it's still covering that edge of the field just in case the Germans come around the corner. So we have a pretty strong position for the Germans right now. The American attack, I wouldn't say it even really started out strong. It started out determined, but it's looking pretty rough right now for the Americans. But we're going to go ahead and press on. We're going to give it a try, and we'll let you know what happens. Okay, coming into turn 4, and the Americans are pushing up. We did manage to assault the machine gun team with the Rangers and managed to kill them off, and we moved up into the woods. Right now we've got the Volksgrenadier who continue to fail orders tests. They keep going down, and they keep acting as meat shields for the entire German army over here. So they can't fire at the Rangers because their own men are in the way. So we know they're just really upset about that. They're like, we're Nazis, we're not pigs, we're not going to shoot our own men. So we have the regulars advanced up this way, and before that happened, the half-track had some shots on the Volksgrenadiers, took it, didn't manage to hit anyone. This squad managed to put a pin on them but not kill anyone. So we have that going on. The men down here had taken shots at the tank. At the machine gun squad, but failed to hit anybody. Over here on this flank, we have the SS who assaulted the officer out in the open, managed to kill him. Half-track rolled up as a shield from the machine gun. The Panzer tank rolled up from here and just started opening up point blank on these men who went to ground, managed to only take one casualty. But I keep saying Tiger because of the Tiger Fear rule, because basically the Panzer has made himself visible to everyone, and everyone on the table virtually at this point on this side of the table is suffering from the Tiger Fear rule. Excuse me. So basically this half-track failed his orders test, the machine gun failed its orders test, the mortar tried to land a shot on the tank but missed. It'll be a 5 next time. Around here, John is repositioning his howitzer, moving it out where he can hopefully see a little bit more. These men have all gone into ambush. They're just holding tight. The sniper has repositioned himself to get ready to start taking some shots. So the Germans are basically just biding their time, waiting for what is essentially now a frontal assault, which we all know how frontal assaults usually turn out, unless you're a Panzer tank. So we're going to go ahead and play the next turn, and we will let you know how it goes after this. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back, and turn 5 went about as good as one could expect for the Americans. Had this squad advance up, they took shots at the Luftwaffe Field Division, Didn't hit a single one. They took fire from the half track and from the Luftwaffe Field Division. Sustained no casualties, but did manage to take a pin. The Rangers decided to move up into the woods. They fired at the pack and put a pin on it. The pack returned in kind, pinned the Rangers but didn't kill anyone. Or actually, no, I'm sorry, the pack completely missed. We had the half-track fire, or decided to kind of pull up from around here and fire at the pack, and managed to put another pin on it and killed another guy. So the pack is down to 2 men. Down here, these men tried to join the fight, but they couldn't because they couldn't get together because they think that's a tiger over there. So tiger fear strikes again. Same thing happened to the machine gun, who tried to fire on the SS advancing across the open field. Again, went to ground because they didn't want to attract attention from the Panzer. The mortar, though, has it together and has been slowly ranging in on the tank. Missed this time, and it'll be a 4 next time. The tank took a shot at the half-track and blew it to smithereens. Opened up its machine guns on these men, managed to whittle them down along with fire from the SS and the half-track, making them go to ground, and they're down to 3 men now. So this will be the turn where we decide if we can get them off of that objective. Meanwhile, the howitzer is making its way around the side, hoping to get some shots. My officer advanced up and at point blank fire eradicated the rest of the Volksgrenadiers. So they're gone, but that also opens up the firing lanes for these men, who promptly started firing at the Rangers and whittled them down to 3 men. So not looking good for the Americans at all. They still have to, if they want to even come close to drawing this game, they have to contest this objective, which is just completely guarded by 2 squads of mixed Germans, a sniper, a half-track, and of course they have their officer back here hiding behind the trench. So I don't think there's any chance they're going to make it to the headquarters, the HQ objective, which was their final objective. So we're going to go ahead and play out this game. We're going to play turn 6, and we will let you know how that turns out. And thanks for watching. Okay, we're back after the final turn, turn 6. The Americans, they did their best. They were very brave, but ultimately the Germans were dug in pretty severely. Just like real Italy, pretty much. This game was kind of a slog. The Americans had pretty much every squad had their NCO killed, except for 1, I think. So there were a lot of failed orders tests. And at the end of the day, the Germans they were superbly dug in. John did a good job of directing the defenses. So okay, so we're gonna start from over here. So there was a squad over here in these rocks who decided to assault the sniper and resolve down the hill, thinking that maybe they could get close to that objective in kind of a sneaky way. But they were quickly assaulted by these. First they were fired on by the half-track, and then they were assaulted by the Grenadiers. And the Grenadiers killed them and then resolved back up the hill to kind of help guard that objective. The half-track, in a surprise move by the tank, was hit on the side. The tank moved all the way from over here and just popped it right in the side, stunning the crew, though, not taking it out, but just managing to stun everybody. So it probably penetrated the engine block and then stunned it. It opened up fire with its machine guns on this squad, forcing them to go to ground, so they couldn't do anything. Meanwhile, the SS assaulted finally, completely knocked out the squad that was holding the one objective that the Americans were able to get their hands on. The machine gun never could get it together. It was just too afraid of that possible tiger over there and never could get any shots downrange onto the half-track. The mortar decided to redirect its fire after the tank moved at the SS and missed. Earlier, before the assault, the howitzer took a shot at the men that were had gone to ground over here and also missed. The pack fired into the Rangers, I believe, and missed. So the Rangers also took fire from the Luftwaffe Field Division, and they managed to pin them, not kill them. But that turned out to be the fatal pin, because the Rangers' plan was to jump out of their defenses on this last turn and run over here and contest this objective, possibly drawing the game. And they didn't pass their orders test, and they just went to ground. So it turned out that we wouldn't have really been able to contest the game, because we're playing a scenario from wwpd.net, the frontal assault optional scenario, and it states that as long as you control an objective, if the enemy doesn't take it back from you, you don't have to actually have any units on it to control it. So the Germans would have had a solid victory anyway. So we hope you enjoyed watching this battle report. This was a really fun game, really good game. We hope to do more of these. I'm working on terrain, and it just takes a long time. It also is kind of hard for me to play and film, so sometimes I just play. But we hope to have more videos like this up soon, as our armies continue to get painted and our terrain continues to get built. If you want to see the progress, check us out on Texas Bolt Action, on the Texas Bolt Action Facebook group. And if you like this scenario, then check out wwpd.net, and we'll try to link to that in the comments section. So have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching. Bye.